Good morning, students. So this is physics for class 12th students and this is chapter number 9, lecture number 2. So in yesterday's lecture you studied about all the basics of optics, about mirror and about various rays. Okay, so today we'll start with the relation between F and R, that is focal length and radius of curvature for mirrors. So I am using a concave mirror to prove this. Okay, so now this is a concave mirror. This is point F, C and P. You are familiar with all the points. So a ray coming parallel to the principal axis will pass through focus and a ray from C is perpendicular to the mirror. So therefore this is the angle I and this is the angle R. Okay. Now as you know from laws of reflection, angle I is equals to angle R. Now see, if this is angle I, this will also be I. Now from the property of maths, if I and R are equal, then the side in front of them would also be equal, that is BF will be equal to CF. So we can say CF will be equal to BF, mark it first equation. Okay. Now in the last lecture I told you about aperture. If we assume that aperture is very small, that means BF will be equal to PF because we are assuming aperture to be very small. So mark it second equation. Now from first and second equation you can conclude CF is equals to PF, right? Now see, CF is equals to PF, that is we can say PF can be written as half of CP because this length is equal to this length. So we can say PF is equals to half of CP, right? So PF is equals to half of CP. Now if you see in the diagram, PF is nothing but focal length, but because the direction of incident light is this, therefore this distance will be taken as negative. So PF is minus F and CP is minus R. So just putting their values as minus F and minus R, you will get R is equals to 2F. So this is the relation between radius and between radius of curvature and focal length of a mirror when aperture is very small. Okay, I have used concave mirror to prove this. You can use convex mirror as well. So try it yourself. The same method is there. Just use convex mirror instead of concave mirror. Okay. Now we will discuss the ray diagrams for concave mirrors. Okay. So one by one we will be taking different cases and we will be writing the properties of images formed. So the first is when the object is at infinity. So see, if the object is at infinity, that means rays would be coming parallel to the principal axis because object is somewhere at infinity. So as you know, parallel rays always passes through the focus. So therefore they will pass through the focus. And one more thing, always remember the point of intersection of reflected rays is the point where image will be formed. So in this case, these are the reflected rays and they are intersecting at this point. That means in this case, image will be formed at focus. It will be a very small size image, or you can say point size image, and it would be real as well because the rays are actually meeting. Okay. Now if we talk about second case, when object is beyond C, that is object is beyond C. So we are denoting object by AB and we will denote image by A dash B dash. Okay, so we will be using this in all the ray diagrams. So this is your object AB. Now I have taken two rays for this, one which is going parallel to principal axis. So this will, after reflection, this will pass through focus. Second ray is passing through C, and as you know from C, a line is a ray is perpendicular to the mirror, so it will retrace its path. So this is the incident ray and this is the reflected ray only. Now they are meeting at this point, that is reflected rays, this one and this one is intersecting at this point. That means this will be the point of image formed. So A dash B dash will be the image formed, and as you can see it is inverted. So the image formed is real and inverted. It is a small size image as compared to object and it is formed between C and F. Okay. Okay, if we take third one, when object is at C. So now the object is placed at C itself. Okay, again there are two rays, one which is parallel to principal axis, it will pass through focus, and second is striking the pole because see, it is already on C, so it would be better if you take the second ray passing from the pole. So now, as you know, as I told you earlier in the earlier lecture, that a ray going like this will go like this after reflection. So now if you see, this will be the intersecting point of these two reflected rays. So this will be the image formed. So this will be A dash, B dash. So now the same size image will be formed. It will be real and inverted, and it will be formed at C when the object is at C. Okay. And one more thing, in ray diagrams, arrows are very important. If you only draw the rays and you do not draw the arrows, then your ray diagram is completely wrong, because from the arrows only we come to know which one is incident ray and which one is reflected ray. Okay. Okay, so the fourth is when the object is placed between C and F. So now this is our object AB between C and F. Again we will be taking two rays, one parallel to principal axis and passing through focus after reflection, and second through the pole. So they will be intersecting at this point, as you can see. So A dash B dash will be the image. Now as you can clearly see, A dash B dash is large in size as compared to AB. So the image is large in size. Again it is real and inverted, and it is formed beyond C. Obviously it is formed beyond C. Okay. Okay, so the fifth is when object is at focus. So our object is at focus. This is our object AB. Again two rays parallel to principal axis passing through focus, and this one through pole. So now when you will draw this ray diagram, as you can see here, these two reflected rays will come parallel to each other. So as you know, if the two rays are parallel, then we assume that they will meet somewhere at infinity. So we can say a real image will be formed but at infinity, because parallel rays are coming after reflection. Okay. So these were the 5 cases for the image formation for a concave mirror, and in all the 5 cases you have seen that image formed was real image. Okay. Now let us discuss one case for the concave mirror when image formed will be virtual image. So this is that case when object is between P and F, that is when object is lying very close to the concave mirror. In that case a virtual image is formed. So let us see how. Object is placed between P and F, that is this one AB. Again two rays, one parallel to principal axis passing through focus, and second will be from pole. So now these rays are not parallel, as you can see, but if you extend them in this direction, they will get apart from each other. So what we do, we extend these rays in forward direction. So when you will extend them, they will meet at this point, that is behind the mirror. So here our image will be formed, but as I told you earlier, we have extended these rays. These rays are not actually meeting here, they are just appearing to meet. Therefore, a virtual image is formed, and virtual image is always shown by the dotted lines. So this is the case where virtual and erect image is formed, large size is formed, and it is formed behind the mirror. Okay. So you can say when the object is lying very close to the concave mirror, a virtual image is formed. So a concave mirror can be used to get a real image as well as a virtual image. Okay, so now let us discuss ray diagrams for convex mirror. Okay, so now this is a convex mirror. Our object is held, that is AB, it is held in front of the mirror. So now again we will be drawing two lines. With one is this one, that is it is going parallel to principal axis. So in this case it will appear to pass through focus. So it is going like that, but it will appear to pass through focus. Similarly, the second incident ray will be passing from C. So again, because from C the ray is perpendicular to the mirror, so it will retrace its path. So this will be the incident as well as reflected ray. Okay. So now as you can see, this point is the point of intersection of reflected rays. So therefore here the image will be formed, and again because these rays are just appearing to meet here, therefore this will be a virtual image. Okay, so now therefore the image will be virtual, erect, small in size, and it will be formed between P and F. Okay, now let us discuss one more case of a convex mirror. In this, the object is at infinity, therefore the rays will come parallel to principal axis. both of them will go like this and they will appear to pass through focus. So therefore again a virtual image will be formed at focus. So virtual point size and the image will be formed at focus. Okay, so these were the ray diagrams. Now let us derive a mirror formula for the mirrors. So mirror formula is same for a convex mirror as well as for a concave mirror. I will be deriving it using a concave mirror. The same method is there for convex mirror. So after studying this method, you can use the same method to derive the mirror formula for a convex mirror. Okay, so let us start with the concave mirror. Again, I have taken the case when object is beyond C. So therefore image is formed between C and F. This I have already told you. And in this case, to derive mirror formula, I have taken three incident rays. One is parallel to principal axis, one is striking the pole, and one is passing through the center of curvature. Okay. Now, see, if you look at the triangle ABC and A', these two triangles are similar. So we can write AB upon A', is equal to AC upon A', okay. Similarly, mark it first equation. Then similarly in the triangles ABP, that is this one, and A'B', again they are similar. So we can write AB upon A'B' is equal to PA upon PA'. Mark it second equation. Now if you will compare first and second equation, you will get AC upon A'(C) is equals to PA upon PA'. That is this. Now if you clearly look in the diagram, see this AC, AC, this one. It can be written as PA or AP minus CP. Okay, look here again, AP minus CP will be AC. So AC can be written as PA minus PC. Similarly, A'(C), this is your A'(C), it can be written as PC minus PA'. Okay, so PC minus PA' will give you A'(C). So A'(C) can be written as PC minus PA' equal to PA upon PA'. Okay, now look again in the diagram. PA, this is nothing but the distance of object, and that is, this is U, because we will be denoting distance of object by U, and distance of image from the pole will be V. Okay, so because this is the direction of incident light, therefore in this direction all the distances will be negative. So your PA will be minus U. PA', this is nothing but the distance of image from the mirror, so this will be minus V. And PC, that is the distance between center of curvature and pole, this you know, it is called radius of curvature. So PC will be minus R. So just put all these three values in this one. So PA is minus U, PC is minus R, that is plus R, minus minus will be plus. PC minus PA' will be minus R plus V is equals to PA, that is minus U upon minus V. Now just cross multiply the terms. So after cross multiplying, you will get UV minus VR is equals to UR minus UV. Okay, so UV and minus UV, if you will take in both of them in one side, that will become 2VU is equals to RU plus RV. Okay, now divide this equation on both the sides from UVR. So when you will divide it by UVR, it will be 2 upon R. This will be RU, therefore it will be 1 upon V plus RV, therefore it will be 1 upon U. Now as you have studied a relation between F and R, that is F is equals to R by 2. So from here R by 2 will be 1 by F. So 1 by F will be equal to 1 by V plus 1 by U. So this is called mirror formula, where F is focal length of the mirror, V is the distance of image from the mirror, U is the distance of object from the mirror. Okay, and the formula remains same for both the mirrors as I told you. So now after studying this one, try to do yourself by using convex mirror and derive the mirror formula using that. Okay, now let us study one more term called linear magnification. So the linear magnification tells that how your image is formed. That is, either it is formed real or virtual, or it is formed magnified or diminished. So first of all, the ratio of size of image formed by the mirror to the size of object is called linear magnification. So as you know, m is equals to we'll be denoting linear magnification by small m. Okay, so as you know, we denoted image by a dash b dash. Height of image was a dash b dash and height of object was ab. So therefore magnification is nothing but size of image, that is I, upon size of object, that is O. Okay, now while deriving mirror formula, this was our second equation. You can see in that a dash b dash upon ab is equals to pa dash upon pa was our second equation. So as I told you there, pa dash is minus u and pa is minus v. Okay, now if you look here, AB will be, as I told you, see, when you will rotate the object by 180 degree, you will get the image. Therefore, this height of object will be positive, that is O will be positive and I will be negative. So therefore here I am writing I to be negative, that is minus I, upon O to be positive. Okay, I hope the signs are clear now. So therefore now from here M is I by O. So M is I by O. So now if you look at these, this minus will cancel out by this minus. So I by O will come to be minus V by U. I am taking this minus this side. So magnification is defined as the size of image upon size of object, and which is equals to minus V by U in case of mirrors. Okay. So now look how what we can conclude from this value of m, that is linear magnification. So if m is greater than 1, that is I will be greater than O, that is size of image is greater than size of object. So therefore you can say if m is greater than 1, the image will be magnified. If m is less than 1, that is, if you look here, I will be less than O, that is size of image is less than size of object. So again you will get a diminished image. So if m is greater than 1, we will be having a magnified image. If m is coming to be less than 1, then we will be getting a diminished image. Okay. Okay, next is if m is coming to be negative, then we will get a real image. And if magnification is coming to be positive, then we will get a virtual image. And why is it so? Because see, look here, m is I by O. As I already also told you that we take height of object to be always positive. Okay, so now if O is always positive, that means magnification will depend on sign of I. So if I is negative, m will be negative, and therefore you will get a real image, or you can say inverted image. So, or if I is positive, that means you will be getting a erect image, or you can say a virtual image. Okay. So therefore from here you can conclude that magnification can be negative or it can be positive for a concave mirror, because in ray diagrams we have seen the concave mirror can form a real as well as virtual image, but for convex mirrors magnification will always be positive, because a convex mirror always forms a virtual image. Remember this. Okay. So for example, in any question you are asked to calculate the magnification of minus 3. So magnification of minus 3 means that you want a real image and it should be magnified by 3 times. Okay. Okay, so if we now talk about the uses of mirror, then concave mirror is used as a shaving mirror or a dentist mirror. There are many more uses. I am just telling 2 uses of each mirror. Okay. And convex mirror is used as a reflector in street lamps, or it is also used as a rear view mirror in vehicles. Because see, all of you have seen the rear view mirror that is attached to the vehicles. So if you recall it, the image which is formed in that mirror is always small size image, and that is erect image. Obviously you see the vehicles to be straightforward, not upside down. That means the image is erect, virtual and small in size. Therefore a convex mirror is used there, because only convex mirror has those properties. Okay. And also because a convex mirror is a diverging mirror, that means it can help us to see a large area. So therefore, if we will use a convex mirror in the rear view mirror in vehicles, then it will allow us to see a large number of vehicles in the backside. So it would be easier to drive. Okay. So one more thing about the mirrors, focal length of a concave mirror is always negative. This I have already told you, because see, when the rays come parallel to principal axis, they pass through focus actually in concave mirror, but they just appear to pass through in convex mirror. Because in concave mirror, this is the focal length and this is the direction of incident light, that is, and as I told you, the opposite direction is taken as negative, so this direction will be taken as negative. So focal length of a concave mirror is always negative. And if you see for a convex mirror, the focal length is coming in the same direction of the incident light, therefore it is positive. So focal length of a concave mirror is always negative and a convex mirror is always positive. Okay students, so after going through today's lecture, you can do question number 1, 2, 8, 9 and 10 from your NCERT book. Thank you.